Amethyst Golems are Ars Nouveau's automatic amethyst farming helpers. They can turn regular amethyst blocks into budding amethyst, speed up amethyst growth, break fully grown clusters, and collect the shards for you. So in this video I'm going to explain how to get an amethyst golem, how to bind its home, what it actually does, and how to set up a simple automatic amethyst farm. Before we can do anything with the amethyst golem, we first need to obtain one. The first thing we need to find is an amethyst geode, and we can use the dowsing rod to make this easier. By right-clicking the dowsing rod, we can see amethyst geodes through walls. Now that we are inside an amethyst geode, we need a budding amethyst, a ritual brazier, and a tablet of awakening. We're going to place our ritual brazier right by a budding amethyst, and we are going to right-click on it with our tablet of awakening. Then we are going to right-click on it again to complete the ritual, and it will convert a nearby budding amethyst block into an amethyst golem. Hello. Now to get the Amethyst Golem charm, we can either use a dispel spell on this guy, like we see here, or we can just ask him politely. And now that we have our Amethyst Golem charm, this essentially works as a spawn egg for an Amethyst Golem, so we can put our guy anywhere we want. So now if we traveled back to our manual labor encampment, we can put this guy down with his friends. Yay! Now that we have obtained our Amethyst Golem, we can talk about how to set them up and what they do. Once our Amethyst Golem has been set down, I think this is our guy, we have to bind him to a home block. If we don't bind him to a home block, he won't do anything, he'll just stand here forever. You can bind him to any home block using a Dominion Wand, but if you bind him to a chest, he will store the amethyst shards he collects in this chest. So we are going to bind him to a chest by right-clicking him with the Dominion Wand, and then shift right-clicking on this chest. Now we can see he's doing his dance, he's farming amethyst because he is bound to that chest. The amethyst golem's range for interacting with amethyst is 5 blocks in every cardinal direction from their home block, 10 blocks into the air, and 3 blocks below their home block. So as you can see, the 5 budding amethyst that is closest to the home block are being harvested and grown, but the budding amethyst outside of that is not being interacted with. I should also note that amethyst golems do not need to physically be able to reach an amethyst block to interact with it. For example, this amethyst block is in their range because their range extends 10 blocks above their home chest, and they have no way of making it up to this amethyst block, but they will still break amethyst clusters that grow on this block, and they will still collect shards from it to put into their chest. As for what amethyst golems do, they do 3 things. They convert blocks of amethyst in their range into budding amethyst. Each amethyst golem can only convert 1 block of amethyst into a budding amethyst every 5 minutes. So this process does take a while if you only have 1 or 2 amethyst golems. And also amethyst golems only take inventory of their radius every 3 minutes or so. So since I've just put down these blocks of amethyst, they don't realize that they're here yet, but it looks like they just realized that they're here because one of them has been converted into a block of budding amethyst. The second thing amethyst golems do is they will speed up the growth of a budding amethyst block in their radius every 15 seconds. So these budding amethyst blocks in their radius have these pink swirls around it. That means they're being boosted and they're growing faster. The last thing amethyst golems will do is that they will harvest fully grown amethyst clusters that are attached to budding amethyst blocks in their radius. As we can see here, if I put down some clusters, they will soon be broken, and the amethyst shards that come out of them will be collected and put into their home inventory if they are bound to a chest. If you're not serious about your amethyst shard production, you can get plenty of amethyst shards with a setup like this, but if you need a ton of amethyst shards for some reason, you're better off making a large farm like this. This is the first farm I made, and it's actually not very good. This farm over here is a lot better. The farm is centered around 1 amethyst golem that is bound to an inventory. There are hoppers below this inventory that bring the amethyst shards to a storage system, and this amethyst golem's radius is completely filled with budding amethyst. So whenever a mature amethyst cluster forms in this radius, it will immediately be broken. The Amethyst Shards will be collected and put into this chest, and they will then be added to the storage system. One interesting thing to note that I discovered while making this farm is that Amethyst Golems will actually harvest Amethyst Clusters that are 6 blocks away from their home block in a cardinal direction, or 11 blocks above their home block, or 4 blocks below their home block. So 1 block out of their range, essentially, as long as the mature amethyst cluster is attached to a budding amethyst block that is in their radius. So where I'm standing right now, I am 6 blocks horizontal from the home block, so I'm outside of the amethyst golem's range. But if I put some mature amethyst clusters 6 blocks away, eventually they will be harvested. One thing that I am confused about though is that sometimes an amethyst cluster will persist on the outside of this cube without being broken. So it seems like since these amethyst clusters are technically outside of the amethyst golem range, they get confused sometimes and they will leave a mature cluster alone. But most of the time they will break the clusters that form on the outside of this cube. If you wanted to make this farm more efficient, you could scatter more amethyst golems around this cube or in the middle with your first guy to speed up the growth of these budding amethysts occasionally. But really all you need is 1 amethyst golem, because 1 amethyst golem can keep up with the harvesting of this entire cube. Moving on to some other amethyst golem facts, the first fact we have here is that they don't actually take any fall damage. I don't know why this would be useful to know, but they do not. Another interesting thing about Amethyst Golems is that it looks like they don't suffer entity cramming damage, which means if you wanted to make this farm as efficient as possible, you could cram like 200 Amethyst Golems in that center section there, and they would speed up the growth of the budding amethyst a lot. The last interesting fact about Amethyst Golems is that they can be made to farm other crystals as well. I know there's a mod called Ars Nouveau that adds golems that are compatible with all the Ars crystals, and there are some server scripts that will make Amethyst Golems compatible with crystals from other mods, like Certus Quartz from AE2 for instance. I will have a website with these server scripts linked below if you're interested. But that is everything you need to know about Amethyst Golems in Ars Nouveau. Vanilla amethyst farms are awkward to set up, so amethyst golems are a really convenient way to automate amethyst production. The biggest thing to remember is that they do not seem to need direct pathing to every block they interact with. As long as the amethyst is in range, the golem can convert blocks, speed up growth, harvest clusters, and store the shards if you bind them to an inventory. If this guide helped, I'll be making more Ars Nouveau automation guides covering the other magical helper systems in the mod. And of course, thank you for watching.